yes, like this I really feel like strongly about. And so it was nice, you know, I talked to Alex and she gave me some like additional context, and so I'll share that with you guys as well, because you know, sometimes it's nice to, I think, get like a perspective that's not exclusively mine. So I'll share a perspective that I got to read about, like, you know, in addition to just having my own thoughts this morning. But today's topic is going to be transcending theme, okay? And the transcending theme is talking with regard to why is school important, okay? And every time I do this, I give, you know, my goal is to give you guys a perspective, to help you guys grow your perspective, so that when it comes to life, right, like you just feel more equipped, more ready. And so I think this is going to be a good one to help you guys with that. So engage in this one for me. But I'm going to ask you guys a question, and I want you guys to like shout out responses if you think of something. But and let me preface, not thinking about content. We are not thinking about content. What does school teach you? So I'm not talking about biology right now. What does school teach you? Come here.
Responsibility.
Cool, responsibility. We're going to elaborate on that. Emily?
Respect.
Respect, sure.
Teamwork.
Teamwork, so working with others. Absolutely. I agree, right? How many times I asked you guys to work with your tables? Sure. Muddy.
I don't know the word, but like different personalities, different people.
Okay, so not only just like working together, but how to work like conducively with different type of people. Okay. Yeah, I like that. Absolutely, yes.
Time management.
Time management. Yeah, I think that's a very important one. Yes.
Social skills.
Social skills. Yes. Madi, go again.
I learned more about myself.
Okay.
Young people.
Okay, so more about yourself. Very good.
Patience, because school sucks and you have to wait for it all.
Oh, yes. Okay, but again, right? My goal in this whole thing is to teach you guys a little bit of a different perspective, so that maybe we could think about school in a little bit of a different light. But yes, it absolutely does teach you all those things. But how much do we really focus on those things? Really, we probably don't, right? Because if we identified those things, we know it teaches us that, but we're not thinking about, we don't think about that, because what we think about is, boom, the content that's right in front of us, right? For the most part, I'm thinking, how am I going to get the right answer to question number 4, okay? But, so some additional ones that I wrote down, just problem solving, finding answers, figuring out what you're good at, right? If we never put ourselves in the position to try math, we're never going to figure out if we're good at it or not, right? Some of us kind of like predetermine, I'm not good at it, and then we just choose that for the rest of our time here. But I would advocate don't do that. But regardless, like we put ourselves in situations to figure out what we're good at, what we enjoy, right? I mean, if I figure out from being in biology that I like biology, I might pursue science, versus if I never tried biology, I might not ever come in contact with that type of material. So it does teach us what we're good at. Anyways, yes, working with others, social interaction, work ethic, time management. So you guys got a lot of them that I brainstormed for sure. But I think if we shifted our focus to thinking of those things more often, then we would realize that all those things help us build a foundation, right, to be more successful moving forward. Those are all life lessons that we're going to be faced with in our jobs, with our families in the future. There's like all these futuristic things, and the thing that school provides that's actually really cool is, for the most part, a very consequence-free place to do that, right? Like if I fail a class, right, or if I mess up in a social interaction, okay, like that's not going to predetermine your success in the future, right? Like it's really not.
Well, it kind of depends on the certain length it goes to.
So you're talking about like if you like commit a crime,
like suspension and stuff.
okay, so to a degree, but you can thankfully overcome a lot of those things when you're young. But what I mean by consequence free is like if we fail in some capacity in this environment, for the most part, it's not going to impact our future successes. Okay? But if we fully apply ourselves to things, then that does help us build a foundation to then build on for moving forward with regard to those concepts that you guys talked about. Because if I were to give you guys a scenario of like, I have a job that I don't like, but I also have a family that I have to provide for, so then I have multiple responsibilities. Like, that's what I mean by consequence free, right? It's like, you're responsible for yourself. But if I'm in an environment where like I need to be taking care of my family, and so I still, because I can't quit my job, I can't just say, I don't want to do my job anymore, so see you guys. Like, probably not when I have a family to provide for, right? Like, that's what I mean by consequence free. But if I develop, you know, this work ethic and time management, then while I'm still doing my job and invested in my job because I have to be for my family, I can also be searching for another job and fully applying myself to that capacity as well. And so that's just like a scenario, but just thinking about in those terms. And so what I ended up reading about on Facebook was about this guy, young entrepreneur, sells a product, very successful, but he's sitting in calculus class and he's like, I don't need this, right? But instead of like being stuck and thinking like, I don't really need this, he thought about, okay, well, how can I make this work for me? And so he decided to then shift his mind to overcoming obstacles, right? Because for a lot of people, calculus is really hard, right? And if you don't figure out how to overcome calculus, if it's a class that you have to take in order to graduate from that university, you aren't graduating from that university. So you're gonna have to figure out a way now to overcome. So instead of thinking about the calculus, thinking about overcoming the obstacle, those are life lessons, right? Those are transcendent themes that, you know, move us forward in our life, give us the confidence that we can overcome obstacles in our life. And so I wanted to help you guys kind of think along those terms. And the only way that we really end up learning those lessons, though, is like if we apply ourselves to the thing that's in front of us. So even if the thing that's in front of us isn't going to be the thing I need in my life, like ultimately, it's going to help us move us forward in our lives. The other thing that I want to like talk about, and I read about it from this guy online too, but I've also had like conversations with a few of you on this particular topic, is utilize your environment for like networking as well. Because one of the things that this guy said about he's at USC, one of the things he said is like, okay, so he takes a whole bunch of business classes. Cool, because he's an entrepreneur, so that makes a lot of sense for him. But he talked about, I not only take a bunch of business classes, because I want to graduate with a business degree, but how many professors are there at USC that teach business, that have the ability to help him go out into the community and network, even if they're not his professor, which is genius. If you have, I mean, so like for me, the way that I think about it is like, I've had a lot of students like come up to me and ask me about like, how do I become certified in personal training? How do I work out? Like things that like can help move you guys forward in your life. Cool, that's utilizing the networking opportunity. If you like fitness and you know that I like fitness and that like I'm in the community and that I do it, right? Awesome, come talk to me about that. There's other teachers here who are also out in the community doing things, right? Miss Walker, she sold real estate forever. If you guys want, you know, like just, and that might not be your thing, what if it is? Cool, you have somebody, a resource that you could go to and talk to about that. And I'm sure that there's other ones as well, I just happen to know that about Miss Walker. And so those are excellent ways that you can utilize your environment, and then also thinking about in the future, utilizing that environment, right? Because if I'm getting a business degree, and there are, I'm gonna guess, there could be more, but there's 20 different business professors that teach business in some capacity at USC, probably more, but let's just say 20. Go talk to every one of them and see what they can offer you and see what they know about that community. Or most professors like have taught in more than just one state, right? Maybe that one of them's taught in Florida and you want to live in Florida. Cool, like talk to them about how to get into that environment. But you don't know unless you initiate that conversation. So yes, social interaction, but yeah, if I'm a part of a university, like I would advise, unless you're planning on going to a university to network or be in an institution to network, do your stuff online. Because unless you also need the structure, which I do fully understand that the purpose of one of the purposes of like college is to be in an institution and have it scheduled, and so that's helpful because it helps you to be more successful, right? I know I have class at 9, I have to be here at 9, therefore I'm there at 9, right? Cool, great. But also think beyond just like what's right in front of you. Think beyond like just what your schedule is. Like make your environment work for you too. So that's also what I would definitely advocate for you as far as like why is school important? Life lessons, right? Discipline, work ethic, time management, but also utilize your environment so far as networking opportunities as well. Okay?